We're turning this 20-foot shipping container into a completely off-grid tiny home for Courtney's mom. Now the solar panel roof and off-grid power system are installed, we're moving on to the interior, which means we should probably install a door. But first we have framing to do. Okay.
I can't tell if it's snowing or raining, and that's because I think it's doing both.
I rolled down my window and he asked for a ride. Said he's got a schedule to keep in his phone.
A space-saving idea that we used in our apartment was to use pocket doors for the bathroom. That way the door doesn't have to swing anywhere, it just slides in. We're gonna use that again in here. There's our pocket door frame, a shower in here, a toilet over there. We've decided the pocket door goes this way.
And the cap, he wore an old pair of Converse. Not what I'd expect.
I need a longer thing.
To the trouble, sat next to me. Rolled down the window and cried.
Got it. Seemed like a good idea at the time. All right, first studs cut. As we always say, the hardest part is getting started, and I just spent the last 20 or 30, or maybe it was an hour, sitting in there just like scratching my head trying to figure this out, because while we might be using 2x4 studs, none of what we're doing is conventional. That's gonna go like that. The other wall can fit in behind it.
With you in the passenger seat, we can drive all night. On the highest shelf you can't reach. Hey kid, you can count on me. When you need a getaway, we can wave goodbye. Honey, you can count on me. Never let you down, I'll be with you in the passenger seat.
Our container is not perfectly level, but we need this door to end up perfectly level once we move the container into its final place. And so I'm doing my best to eyeball how unlevel it is and make this the same amount of unlevel.
This is the craziest hail I've ever seen. Is it snow? Is it hail? Is it rain?
It's out there for like 1 second and I'm covered in it. Dippin' Dots. Blue raspberry.
Your wall's too short.
I know, what's the deal? I promise I did that on purpose. We're going to use the space above the bathroom for something. I was looking for screws and I found a pretzel in my pocket. We have a few mechanical things that we need to run up into the ceiling, like the bathroom fan and our HVAC, but one of the advantages of a high cube container is the nice high ceiling. We're gonna leave this side of it as high as we can, which is almost 9 feet, and then that side of it over there is gonna be dropped for those mechanicals only. Dinner in 10 minutes. Okay, thank you, I'll be right up. I just got the call that dinner's gonna be ready in 10 minutes, which means that I am done for the day, but I'm feeling stoked with this progress. I got the wall frame for the pocket door, I've got the drop ceiling in the bathroom in, we've got the beginnings of this soffit that's gonna hold our ceiling cassette for our mini split system installed, which means that tomorrow I think we can wrap up the bathroom framing and move on to the rest of the living space. We'll see you then.
Well, we did not get dried in before it started raining, but I think Riley's little tarp situation kept water from getting inside. You got a lot done last night. Wow, that looks really good. It's a good thing that my mom is kind of a small person. I think with a tiny house, there's always going to be sacrifices, and so we opted for pretty much the smallest bathroom we could probably do, because how much time do you actually spend in the bathroom versus the rest of the space?
Oh, wow, look at the ceiling. That is a perfect example. So these metal shipping containers, our metal, and just like a soda can that's left out on a hot summer day, these things also sweat, but on the inside. If you heat the inside and the outside's cold, they collect condensation like this. So to solve that problem, we're gonna be spray foaming this entire container, and we don't want any thermal bridging, so anywhere possible, we don't want the studs to be touching the metal. We wanna leave an air gap so we can get spray foam in behind all of the studs. At the same time, we don't want a really thick wall because that's gonna make our tiny space even tinier. So we're gonna be putting all of the studs on flat from here on out to save us interior width. Gluing what I'm calling the toe plate down, but it is different than a toe plate. I guess inexpensive insurance, since we are screwing into just this OSB, like I want everything in here to be solid. Yeah, so we're gonna fill all of this space with spray foam, so I don't want any of the wood actually touching the container. Okay, this thing's called a pocket hole jig. Thanks, Brian, for sending it to us. And I'm going to now use pocket holes on both ends. So I realized as I was putting this together that I really am building this more like a kitchen cabinet than I am like framing a wall. I'm like basically building giant cabinet face frames that we're then gonna attach all our interior finish to. Oh yeah, that's gonna work good.
I'm always amazed by that thing every time we use it.
There's a reason I think they've become so popular. Now that is going to sit so that we could spray foam in this gap in one of those spots that's gonna want a cold bridge. This was a detail that took me a long time to come up with. I wanted to frame these walls with the studs flat to save room inside, and I could not figure out, one, how to attach the toe plate to the floor, and then two, how to attach the studs to the toe plate, and then I remembered our pocket hole jig. Always an unsettling feeling drilling towards your hand. I think the only thing worse is shooting framing nails towards your hand.
Well, you probably just shouldn't do that.
Okay, can you pull that way a little bit? Like a half an inch? Right there. Pass the test. It's not pretty, but I think functionally that's what we want. Trying my best to glue and screw all the joints. I keep laughing to myself when I realize that I'm literally building this interior like it's a cabinet. This stud here is mounted at the height that our kitchen cabinets are going to need something solid to attach to, and this one here is to support the end of the drywall at the top. I needed to rip this in half though because I realized that a full-length stud, there'd be no room to get the spray foam gun in, and it's really important that we get all of this space into here completely covered in spray foam so there's no exposed metal.
What are the odds we drop this?
Pretty high.
I can't reach to hold it.
What? You've never not been tall enough. First wall down. Progress today has felt really slow. In my mind, I think we were gonna be done with this in like half a day because it wasn't very much. It turns out to be a lot. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna attempt to splice these two 2x4s together by pocket screwing them together end to end into the end grain of the wood. I don't think this is going to work, but I think it's worth a shot. I really only need this to hold together long enough for me to get it up into place. Wow, that's actually pretty strong. Well, that's all we have time for today. I was really, really hoping to have gotten more done today, but that's just the way projects like this go sometimes, and I'm just gonna have to pick it back up again tomorrow, so we'll see you then.
I haven't checked our water level in a long time, and the last time we filled up our tank was before winter started. If you're new to the channel, when we bought this property, there was no water source, and we have been hauling potable water for over 3 years now. An eighth left, but that's about to change. Because if you guys watched at the end of last summer, Riley dug us a shallow well that's actually been producing water, and today is the day that we are going to plumb that well into this underground tank, and we should, in theory, have essentially unlimited water. Insane.
Oh, I think there's actually quite a bit. So we'll show you in a second how we treat our water, but I'm also adding this super coarse sediment filter just to try to get the dirt and the sand out of our tank. Here it comes. There it is. Oh my gosh. We have water. This is incredible. At this point, I should probably mention that our shallow well water is not good water. We've had it tested, and it tested for all kinds of stuff. A couple of months ago, you guys watched us install a whole house filtration system that should allow us to use this water in our home. At this point, I'm feeling confident enough that we can shower with this water, use it for laundry, wash dishes, but I am still not comfortable with drinking it. Waterdrop actually watched our shallow well video and then reached out to us with a product that's going to make our water safe for our family to drink. And so with that, I'd like to give a huge thanks to Waterdrop for sponsoring this video. Instructions, instructions, instructions. A leading brand in water purification, Waterdrop is one of the top 3 water purification brands on Amazon. All right, no turning back now. The 11-stage precision filter is able to filter out 99.99% of harmful substances all the way down to 1/10,000th of a micron. The 11 stages of filtration include F1, an activated charcoal and remineralization filter, F2, a carbon block and sediment filter, and F3, a reverse osmosis membrane, plus a final UV stage. The remineral function infuses alkaline minerals such as calcium and magnesium and adjusts the water's pH to an optimum 7.5. Due to our limited water resource, we had hesitations in installing traditional RO. Traditional RO can produce up to 5 gallons of wastewater for every 1 gallon of clean water produced. But the efficiency of the X12 is insane, and we're gonna be able to produce 3 gallons of clean water while only discharging 1 gallon of wastewater. Another advantage of the X12 over traditional RO is that it's tankless, which means that it takes up less space and there's no tank to potentially grow bacteria. Oliver figured out that he can just push on it, open it, and get into the trash. So this is no longer going to be a drawer anymore. We're going to convert it back into a cabinet so that we can put a child lock on it. This is the Waterdrop Intelligent Faucet. Not only does it give us filter change reminders, it also reads TDS, which is total dissolved solids, which is going to allow us to continuously monitor the water quality coming out of this faucet. Intelligent Faucet also allows us to dispense a specific volume of water. So we've got it dialed in for 8 ounces. Ready, set, go. Less than 6 seconds to fill an entire cup of water. That's really good. We've been using Waterdrop products for years, starting with a filter system in our truck camper, and I'm now feeling confident that my family and I can safely drink this water. If you'd like to learn more about Waterdrop's products, including the X12, check out the link in the description below. And thanks again to Waterdrop for sponsoring this video. Welcome back to day 4 of framing this interior. Building with containers is not the most efficient way to build, but they are really cool. And this is the struggle we're facing now, which is how do we support the ceiling on the side over here that has tons of windows without penetrating our container?
Feel these pages turning. Yesterday is burning. Now's the time for learning. The future has come. I feel the times are changing. I see the light escaping. Season for connecting. Tomorrow has dawned.
I need to somehow get this super long 2x4 up there.
Freedom has come. Hearing sound and color. These days are getting better. Yesterday is over and the future has come. Are you ready for the wave coming?
And now for the part I'm most worried about, which is that this space right here needs to get a stud in it, so we have something to attach all of our trim to and to support our header above. However, once I put that in there, there's gonna be no way to get spray foam behind it. So I'm gonna try foaming it first, and I have a feeling I'm about to make a humongous mess. We want there to be a thermal barrier between all of the metal and all of the studs so that we don't get condensation buildup on the studs because studs actually don't have a very good R value. They're not really thermal conductors, but I think their R value is only 1 per inch. So it's really important to have this thermal break between our wall and our stud. And now there should be about a 1/2 inch gap between the metal exterior and that stud that's going to be filled with foam. At least I hope. That actually made way less of a mess than I expected. I have no idea what's going on, but it needs to just make up its mind. Either snow or be warm and sunny, but this in between. Which means that next is the ceiling joists.
Woo!
Okay, every single one of these is gonna need to be cut. They're going 24 inches on center. I'm not amused.
Don't take yourself so seriously.
You don't take yourself so seriously.
I don't.
Melting. Time to retreat to the deck. I've got some ideas on how we're gonna move this shipping container house into its final location, but I'm not willing to share them yet. But there might be something nearby that indicates the plan. It's those sawhorses. Here we go. That's a really big screw up. It worked fine. Sometimes I do doubt myself too much. And sometimes my impact doesn't even close to fit. Okay, how are we gonna do this? What do you think of that contraption? And then now I need to take my whole contraption out. And now these ceiling joists are gonna tie our 2 walls together so that nothing can move. And then once we spray foam everything, it's gonna glue all of our framing into the container and make one like solid structure. We're basically building an old Coleman steel belted cooler. All right, I think our framing is done, which means it's time to move on to plumbing and electrical.
Good morning. I don't think that we could ask for a more beautiful day as spring in North Idaho. This weather has been amazing, but we need to get this thing dried in, which means this morning we're gonna start by getting this patio door installed. We need to rip the door jamb down to size first, so let's do that. Ooh, these are fresh.
This was on clearance, the hardware store.
It's also a bench, like a lounge chair. Mine said red.
So we want to run this entire door jamb through the table saw with the fence on this side of the jamb. But because of the way that the threshold sticks out, there wasn't enough room to use the normal fence that the table saw comes with. So I've created a new fence over here out of a strip of plywood, a 2x4 and some clamps, and I hope that now we have the clearance that we need for that door jamb to be able to clear. I'd like to remind the audience that this is a what we're doing channel, not a how-to channel, and I don't recommend this setup. Hopefully we don't ruin what was probably a very expensive door.
That was stressful.
It worked. 1 cut down, 2 to go.
And now the question is it gonna fit in the opening?
It's like the windows, we have no idea.
Hey!
Hey, all right.
Snug as a bug in a rug.
We don't want to add any exterior trim to this because I think it will just look a lot better without exterior trim. So we wanted the door to fit nice and snug in this frame with a slight reveal of the container. So it's gonna sit something like that.
We'll pull it out, I'll paint it, and then we'll install it.
We were weakened by our struggle with the world.
we're going to be using the color Tricorn Black, which I've never used before. I don't have to paint very much of this door, and so I don't want to get the sprayer out, and it's kind of an awkward skinny strip to also try rolling. So let me show you a trick I learned, I think when we were flipping houses. And then I'm just going to use the sponge and I'm going to dab it, and it gets rid of all the brush strokes and it makes it look like this super smooth sprayed finish without any of the masking or cleanup involved with using a paint sprayer.
Maybe we could love each other, show a little kindness to ourselves. Maybe we could call our mothers more. Hey, Ma, I love you. Hey, ho, throw your worry out the window. Let's go anywhere the wind blows. Hey, ho, lean into the tempo. Let's go. We're all in it. Follow where your heart goes.
How's yours look?
Mine looks good.
Woo!
Nice.
I'm not sure if we explained this very well to you guys. We bought all our windows and doors used off Facebook Marketplace. They were for a new construction home that the homeowner changed their minds, and so we're just kind of trying to make them work. And this was originally an in-swing patio door, but we didn't want it to swing into such a tiny space, so we flipped it around and made it an outswing, which is not ideal. Things like the threshold are pointed the wrong way, but I think it's going to work because it is really well protected by this porch, and we saved a lot of money. Thanks for the new work platform. It's pretty sweet.
Is it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm putting the seal back so we can mount the door so that the container's waterproof. I still need to paint the inside, but I have no idea what color we're painting anything on the inside, so that's a problem for another day. So we're gonna mount the doors. So hopefully they fit. Oh, we say that a lot. Hopefully it fits, but like...
I have a bottom.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and I'll put the pins in?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. How does it look?
You tell me.
That looks so good. Does it close?
I don't know. Oh, it's even straight.
Hopefully we're 2 for 2.
There we go.
Door. Nice job. Hey! Oh, that's perfect. Now we just need to go buy a doorknob.
Yeah.
Now it's time to get the doorknob installed so that these doors stop flying open. Royally might not read the instructions, but I do. Maybe every relationship needs the person who reads the instructions and the person who throws them in the trash. Oh my gosh. Moment of truth, does it work? Hey!
Oh, sweet. Nice job, Courtney.
With the doorknob installed, the door won't fly open anymore, which means we can move back onto the inside where we're going to be on electrical. Not my favorite step, but it does mean that we are getting one step closer to spray foam.
You caught me with a mouthful of food. All right, moving on to electrical. I had no idea when I was at the hardware store how we were gonna do these boxes, so I just bought all of them. We've got nail-on boxes, old work boxes, side mount boxes, double gangs. Basically, I knew that depending on how the container was corrugated and where we would want outlets, there wasn't going to be enough depth here for a standard depth outlet. So you'd open the door. So does the light switch go here or here? That would be even better. So that one will go there, that one will go right there.
Nice.
One down. Light switch is done. Moving on to outlets.
We on top of the world, about to jump off it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do.
Ready for battle. I now need to cut a 4.5-inch hole through the side of the container for our bathroom vent fan to exit. Yeah, it's gonna be quite a project. It's that big to be exact.
Whoa.
I need to make more room to be able to drill the hole saw hole. So I'm gonna cut about half of this away. Try again. That is much better. Here we go with pilot hole. Now we'll go outside and we'll drill the big hole from the outside. Found a handle.
Do you think that would have saved your lip last time?
Yes, it's almost healed. Also, one of you in quite a few videos ago told me that if I tighten the chuck down like normal and then go one click backwards, like tighten and then one click backwards, it locks it. Thank you for the tip. All right, ready? I need the taller ladder. Yeah, this is really slow going and it's gonna be really difficult. It's working. Very slow going. The key to cutting steel with a hole saw is to push like as hard as you can at a very slow RPM, and that's really hard to do. My fear at this point is that when I finally break through, I'm gonna fall off the ladder because the pressure leaves. Oh, we're there. Aha! Would you like a Pringle? This is that box tubing that the containers are made out of, so it's kind of the only spot on the entire container where you can put a screw in without penetrating to the inside. That ought to hold until the glue dries. On to the next thing. Woo! It's a space snake, buddy. Why would you not like filming in small spaces with me while I'm standing on a ladder and you're below me? I don't understand. And we are done. I think it's time to move on to the kitchen boxes.
This is definitely like an ADU granny unit, so it's not gonna have a full kitchen, but it is gonna have an induction cooktop, a mini fridge, a pretty decent sized sink, probably a toaster.
With the way that these container ribs laid out, there's just no way that I'm fitting a full-size box in here. There's no room for insulation. So instead I'm gonna be using this super duper shallow box. Yeah, it does make wiring it hard because there's basically only room for the outlet and a little tiny bit of wire. You can't really use these as a junction box. So I'm gonna have to junction it in a different box and then come back to this one. Not that one or that one, it's that one.
Wow, I'm glad there was nothing on the other side.
I was confident. When we did all the wiring for the shop, I put an outlet on each corner of the shop on the outside, and at the time it just seemed like a lot of extra work. Now I use them all the time. It means I'm not dragging extension cords all over the place. I've always got an outlet no matter kind of where I'm working. I think that brings us to the last piece of lighting, which is going to be recessed lighting in the ceiling. We're using these recessed lights that are going to snap into the finished ceiling after the finished ceiling is in. So all we have to do now is mount these control boxes relatively near where we want the finished lights and wire them up. The rest comes later. It is time to pull wire. We're going to start in the kitchen. There's going to be 2 circuits in the kitchen. There's going to be 1 circuit for the induction cooktop, and there's going to be a second circuit for everything else.
Young love, won't you come sit real close to me? For the first time, I got you by my side. And don't you know that you
It's gonna be the first outlet in the kitchen where we're gonna have a GFI receptacle. Then we're gonna have this outlet up here be the slave off that GFI, and the outlet down there on the fridge be the continuation. So the fridge will not be GFI protected, but the other countertop outlet will. Which means that we have to run 2 wires now, one from here to here, and then another one from here down to there. GFI outlets have 2 sets of terminals, a line and a load. And so if we continue our daisy chain off the line side, the rest of the outlets are not GFI protected. But if we daisy chain off the load side, then all of the outlets downstream of that will be GFI protected. So our fridge outlet's on the line side and our countertop outlet is on the load side. Kitchen done. The best part of building a tiny house is that every time something starts to feel repetitive, it's done. If you're liking this video, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode where we are going to be making our first ever attempt at DIY spray foam.
I think it's harder than I thought it was going to be.
Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.